all of you doing here?
No.
Oh my God, it's a family reunion.
Where have we been?
Not here talking about Drag Race. That's for fucking sure.
You know that's right.
All over the channel talking about everything but season 17.
We've been here most of the time.
Not me.
But
I skipped a few weeks, but I'm back.
But hello. Welcome to the Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real in the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. I've got water as always, but I am drinking some coffee. It's hazelnut chai, and it's very delicious. And that's all for today.
Wonderful. And hello, everybody. It's me. I know. Where have you been, girl? I've been on the other channel. If you really wanted to see me, you could just jump to the TV channel. I've been all over the place over there. But I am here. I am Lana, your resident evil diva. And I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. I too am just drinking on some water today because hydration, of course, is always important. But the most important thing is having your cup mug. And I get to say that in here, cup mug, beer. And you can get your cup mug or any of our cup merch at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. The link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So there are no excuses unless you live in Brazil, and then there's all the excuses in the world, and you just don't get a cup. I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know. Sorry, Brazil. Apparently, they don't want to send you cups, but everywhere else, you can get a cup mug. So go to LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. Get your cup mug, period.
The post office said, you got enough mugs, girl.
Not this.
Apparently.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I decided to wear one of my favorite Queen shirts from last season. It is Q. And once I put it on, I realized this was perfect because look what she's doing with her hands. It's giving Anya. So,
I don't have the nails, but
right.
Nails.
And her nails aren't quite as long. They're not Lexi Love level. But I am just drinking some water right now.
And hi, I'm River, your Brazilian correspondent here on the Cup, and I don't have a cup mug, but I grabbed my black and white little tea time mug to go with the runway theme.
Period. Well, we will be talking about the runways over on Look Over Here, so make sure to check that out because it was a cute little runway.
It was cute.
Cute little runway, but. We are talking, it is episode 11 of season 17 of RuPaul's Drag Race. We are almost done. Could you imagine such a thing? We're almost done. It's almost over. And we are getting our first scripted acting challenge of the season. Kind of wild. Kind of crazy. And
But it was good writing. Something happened. I was shocked. Anyway, we'll get into it, but
this is the second time on this show where they wrote something and have it written for them, and it was actually good. So I think the writers of this season are really doing a big one, and I appreciate it because the acting challenges where it is scripted is not bad. It's not a bad script. Like the Rusical was a good script, like everybody, it was written well, and I think this one was written well too. So I appreciate that. I think the writers are doing a big one this season.
I don't know. I think it was missing farts. I think it could use farts to make it better.
A few farts would have made it better.
Bring back farts.
No,
bring back my farts.
No, because apparently everything that the girls was doing was making RuPaul crack the fuck up the entire time. Because literally all you could hear background was RuPaul
like slamming on the desk. Like, wow.
The winner of today's challenge is RuPaul's laugh.
Literally. Like, come on now.
Yeah,
But
I always like it when there's a challenge and you feel like, oh, this person probably has to be in the bottom two by default just because nobody else was that bad.
no,
And that's
everyone did good in this challenge. No
Mhm.
one flopped this challenge.
No.
I was really happy to see it, especially after, some floppage last week.
Some flops.
Some floppage last week.
Some clunkers.
Yes. But we're going to talk about this episode, everything in between. Before we do, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things drag. That currently means season 17 of RuPaul's Drag Race, as well as our refilled for season 1 of La Mas Draga. David, River, and Eduardo are trucking through season 1 without subtitles, so thank God for Eduardo. That is being released weekly on the channel with early access available on Patreon, so make sure to check that out if you have not already. And Lana and David are covering Drag House Rules as well, so make sure to check that out. Plus, we've got 3 other channels as well, so make sure to check those out. All those links are down in the description below as well. And you can find our audio podcasts as well, which are popping off for everything. So thanks, audio podcast listeners. If you are an audio podcast listener, thanks, David. Thanks, David.
I think they were doing well before, but I think they just got better because. Yes,
I agree.
I will say.
I agree. But yeah, all the links are down in the description below, so check those out. And merch link, all the links are in the description, so check them out. But Lana,
yes,
it's been a minute.
Yes.
You haven't really been here much for season 17 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
I'm not gonna. If you want to have your moment, I'll let you have your moment. But otherwise, I just want to know what you think of the season.
I mean, I've been more on the TV channel because that's where my attention needed to be. So go check out the TV channel. But I have enjoyed the season of 17. I thought I was going to love it. I have not loved it. But I like it. I'm not upset about it. I have moments where I'm like, okay. But then I have moments where I'm like, oh, this is really good. This is really good. I'm enjoying the season. I'm more connected to people who I didn't think I would be connected to preseason. Like preseason, I have people who I thought I would just be so in love with and fall for. And then it has not been that. It has not been that. And there's been people who I did not expect. Like Anya Nerves. Like Miss Anya has been eating and I love every second of it. I didn't feel it like that for preseason, but I adore her. Miss Butthole, I really enjoyed her. Enjoyed Lydia Butthole Collins. I really, really did. And I didn't feel that with her during preseason either. Enjoy the crap out of her. And Miss Sparkles, Jules Sparkles, love her. Did not think I would love her preseason. Absolutely love her. Now, people who I did think I loved, and I did love, Sam. I knew I would like Sam because I know Sam. I just know Sam. Being in Birmingham, being around people, Sam is somebody who I feel like I know. Like I know that person. I know this kind of person. I see them. I interact with them. So I was like, I'm going to get along with Sam just fine and absolutely enjoy Sam. I love the breakthrough moment for Sam, and she has not turned back. Like she has not looked back from once she had that breakthrough moment. She has just been full force. Love that. But yeah, the season has been giving me some ups and some downs, some peaks and some valleys. But this week was a peak. I enjoyed this week.
Which was definitely very necessary after,
the valley.
The valley that was the roast.
I wasn't here for the roast, but okay, maybe the roast itself was not the highest quality, but that was a quality episode of television.
The episode was quality.
Mm-hmm.
The episode was quality, and what made it even higher quality was the fact that the roast wasn't high quality.
And the runway was good.
And the runway was phenomenal. Yeah. But that's also what we've grown to kind of expect with roast episodes, is they're not always the best roast, but they always turn out to be great episodes of television because they're not always the best roast. Like there's so many iconic moments that come from roasts and roast episodes. Like I think of Utica asking RuPaul to stand up. I think of Coco and her you look like the black Pee Wee Herman. Like
shut up with your no drag knowledge.
No drag knowledge mouth. Like, I think of those moments, like, so many, and there's only been 5 roasts on US Drag Race.
Wow.
Why?
Including All Stars?
Have we gotten a roast on All Stars?
I mean, All Star 7, yes.
We had like the
then
Lady
6.
Bunny one on All Stars 4.
Was
4, yes.
So then
It was the roast
7.
of Lady Bunny, yes.
So then 7, I believe, total. 5 on regular season and then 2 on All Stars. So 7 total. But even then, 7 out of what? 26 seasons? Kind of wild, kind of crazy. But yeah,
I like that it's not like every season like Snatch Game, but I think for All Stars it should be every season. I think every season of All Stars should have a roast, in my opinion. But I also don't think we need to be having as many All Star seasons as we do regular seasons in a year. So, you know.
Well, just wait for this All Star season coming up.
Oh my God, we'll see. Anyway. We'll see.
If you know, you know.
And I don't know.
I mean, I don't know what you're
I just know
alluding
it's
to.
going to be different, but I don't know.
It's more like Masked Singer now, like the format.
Extra special.
Or like older Masked Singer.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, we'll see.
it feels more like Survivor, if you ask me.
I mean, also Masked Singer, like they merge. They
Well,
have
yes.
groups A, Group B, Group C, and they
Sure.
merge.
No.
Sorry, I'm saying too much, probably.
Yeah. If you know, you know. Anyway.
I don't know.
I knew. I just wanted it to be just a rumor, but it's...
Anyway, we come back into the workroom after Arietti's departure. And she says some not so lovely things about Miss Anya Nerve on the mirror. Oh, girl.
It was such a waste.
Go ahead.
It was such a waste to take that last moment of you being on the show and use it to talk about somebody else and try to bring them down. And I think we said it off camera, out of context, you think, oh, she's just being, shady. But when we get the context of Anya has expressed that there's something that she is fighting with, it's a battle for her, it's an insecurity of hers. She's told the girls off camera that this is a medical condition that she's dealing with, and for Arietti to now turn that into fodder or a way to bring her down on her way out because you're upset that she told you the truth, is kind of ill. It's kind of
about your baby behavior, like
right
now. I understand why she said
behavior.
I'm a baby. She was
you're a baby.
She was for real.
It was very childlike. It was very childish and very juvenile. And yes, we know it's been a year. They have gotten over it. They have apologized to each other, but us just watching it and seeing it, it just felt gross. It felt icky. It was just like, ugh, I wish she wouldn't have done that. But it is what it is. They have overcome it. So I'm just going to let it go. But just know I was not happy in that moment watching that and seeing that. And I was just like, ew.
Yeah.
Ironically, she was the one that left a bad taste in all of our mouths.
Oh, no.
So,
period.
The tables have,
she made all of our breath stink.
Period.
Yeah, it was disappointing to see because I've been a big Arietti fan. Like, despite like her not being the best at everything, I still would have given her 3 wins. Like, I think she won all 3 design challenges personally. So, like, as somebody who's been defending her, I was like, oh, that's not the best way to go out. That's actually really frustrating. But I am glad that they've made up, and how quickly Anya was able to forgive her, like next day. That just says so much about Anya. And
yeah, and already joking about it herself.
Right. And in a weird, like, this is really sick and twisted, but the Black Queens on Drag Race, notoriously, it is so hard for them to get the sort of following that a lot of other people. I think it took this situation that Anya's now above 100,000 followers on Instagram. And I think she is one of the most universally championed contestants I've seen in a while on Drag Race. Like, everybody's rooting for Anya.
I love that for her. I love that for her. I hope she gets 1 million followers and a lot of people just follow and support her. What I hate is that it takes her being badgered and belittled on national television to garner that support. It's not just her sheer talent that is garnering the support. It's because people feel bad that that's how it went out. And that's the problem I have with this fandom. That's the problem I have with the how they treat queens of color, because they don't, well, shoot, not even queens of color, black queens, they don't treat black queens fairly. Like, we have to feel belittled and demeaned in order for you to say, "Oh, I feel so bad for you. I'm gonna follow you." Not following on her sheer talent. She's been winning. She's been up. She's been killing it. But
she is the front runner.
She is the moment, and it took this moment of somebody bashing her to make you go, "Okay, now I'll follow you." I don't like that, but I am glad she has it, and I hope she uses this platform to just do the best that she can with it. But I wish the fandom would support black queens like they would support all the other queens, just by sheer talent.
Yeah, like, I wish she would have gotten that love just because she was doing so well, and still is,
right?
Like,
because she's killing it.
It's very white savior complex.
Absolutely.
It's very that, and unfortunately, but you know what? It is what it is.
And the fact, what you did say, we loved how quickly Anya turned it around and was like, "All is forgiven." That's how we have to be, because if she would have held on to that grudge a whole lot longer, then it would have turned out, why is she being so petty? Why won't she just let it go? Why she's not? And that's, we gotta let stuff go very quickly in our life. And we've been taught that our whole life. I know for me, I've been taught that my whole life. You can't hold on to it, especially when it comes to other people. You gotta just accept it, swallow it up, move on, because
otherwise you become the bad guy.
You become the bad guy.
Yeah.
So yeah. I do, but that shows how good she is. Like, she ain't gonna let nobody bring her down. She's not gonna let somebody's final words diminish what she knows she is. She knows how talented she is. She knows how good of a queen she is. And she also knows that she is one of the front runners in this competition. So ain't nothing the person who got sent home could say to bring her down. Like, baby, you going home. You not on my level. So let's not. You're not gonna bring me down. No. But
definitely. Well, we get RuPaul walking in, looking like in a what is that? The plastic laundry bag? Like the coat he was wearing. Did anyone else get that, or was that just me?
I don't pay attention to what he wears.
I don't remember.
Fair. It was this like black and white plaid. It was like houndstooth coat. And it looked like one of those like laundry bags. Regardless,
the shiny bag?
Unlocked. Yeah, the shiny ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like one of those. It unlocked a core memory for me. But we find out that the Maxi challenge for the week is an acting challenge. We are acting in Ross Matthews versus the Ducks, a parody of Truman Capote versus the Swans.
I did not get it based on the title. I saw the episode title. I'm like, what does this mean? And then when RuPaul I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Because
I had no fucking.
I still don't get it.
Oh, really?
I mean,
I don't know who Truman and the Swans are.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, they had a whole season of feud about it.
Oh, did they really?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I only watched the one with Betty and Joan.
I mean, I had no idea what they were referencing, but when they were like filming it, I got the idea and I got what it was supposed to be, and so it's fine. Mm-hmm. And from the characters as well that they were referencing, like the names, we could kind of tell who it was.
Yeah.
based
Yeah,
on.
true.
So I kind of was like,
But they're
I
not
got
really
the
the swans. Those are
idea.
not the swans.
I thought it was a like a Housewives Vanderpump Rules type
Well,
deal.
that's the way
Yeah.
that they
They made it like a
modernized
modern,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Because this was back in like the 60s.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
50, 60s. So it was like socialites of the time. And he was like the original, like he was like
He
the
was like
original
the pop-
Gossip Girl.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
He was like Perez Hilton. Like, I'm
Kind
gonna
of,
spend all
yeah.
your
Like
tea. I'm in the
something like
fold.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, something
Gotcha.
like that. So the way that they modernized it was bringing in like Lisa Vanderpump, Lisa Rinna, and like using those characters, and then doing like whatever, like it was. They were trying to do like Housewives, and then also like
Iconic like TV shows,
Right.
reality TV.
All the right reality moments, because I saw some Love and Hip Hop, and then it was some
it was Love and Hip Hop
Vanderpump.
and Vanderpump, Tiffany New York Pollard
Yeah,
reference.
Big Brother.
Thank you.
Mhm.
How has it taken 17 seasons of Drag Race for them to finally acknowledge the Tiffany New York Pollard monologue?
Well,
Thank you. Finally.
Will
There
it
hasn't-
eventually be a lip sync? Who knows?
there hasn't
I-
been 17 seasons of its existence, though.
Okay,
Right.
but it should have been acknowledged previous to this, David.
Like maybe 5 seasons ago,
Right.
huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Right when it came out, it should have been acknowledged.
Mhm.
100%.
Now, when are we going to get a
Um,
David's Dead reference?
Oh,
Please.
David's
Please. Oh my God.
What?
That is one of the things that I would just absolutely love to go back and do on the TV channel, is do a refill of that season of Celebrity Big Brother UK, because it is just absolute chaos. And
I mean, if we're going to get Tiffany Pollard monologues on the show, we will be remiss to get her monologue when she was voted out on House of Villains, when she talked to Omarosa.
Mhm.
That has
Yeah.
to be one that comes out as well. And then, like, she has several monologues of, you think I care? I don't care. I don't give a like. She has several. So we need to do a Tiffany monologue compilation. Lip
tier
sync.
list.
No, just lip sync, where they all just have to go in and out of different monologues from Tiffany
Okay.
Pollard.
That's what next
Okay.
week's episode should be. The charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent monologues should be
Period.
the Tiffany Pollard monologues.
Absolutely. Everybody
There we
pick one and
go.
do
There we
one.
go. Mhm.
But yes, so we're picking our roles. It's pretty cut and dry for the most part. The only real fighting for roles that happens is for the Chicago role, because of course, bitch, she's from Chicago. Of course.
Yes.
And it's Jules, who has had the Tiffany monologue memorized since 9th grade, and Susie.
Because she loves monologues.
She loves monologues.
We know, but
I wanted her to get it.
You wanted Susie to get it,
I wanted Susie to get it so bad.
so she would shut up.
so she would
so she
do
could
that.
see it, read it, and do it completely wrong. And so everybody be like, that is not what this monologue is about. Like, because I believe Susie too would have Susied it up and not Tiffany'd it, and it would have been the worst thing ever. And she would have been so humbled because she thinks she knows everything. It would have been comfortable, but it would not have been Tiffany, because I don't think Susie too even saw Tiffany Pollard do that monologue before. I don't think Susie even know that monologue. So I would have loved for her to get it, do it, and then all the judges be like, what was that? That was not what that was. Like, have you seen it? Like, she would have, I wish Jules would have been like, girl, you can have it. But all right, that's not what
Me
happens.
too, but for a different reason. It's because I think Jules would have done much better if she did the role that Susie did. Like if it was her and Lexi doing that, I
Yep.
think it would have been much better.
See, I understand where both of you are coming from, and I saw a lot of discourse about this on Twitter before the episode even aired because of the preview, and people are like, how come they're switching up like how they're giving out the rules? Like, that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care. I kind of just want to see Susie not get her way. I'm kind of like the other girls in the cast because I'm just not connecting with Susie, so it's just kind of fun to see her not get her way.
I feel like I agree with you, David. I agree. I like seeing her not get her way, but I also feel like she gives in too easy. Like there is no fight in Susie too, and I wanted to see some fight in her. Like I get the other girls like, we're not giving you one, but I'm like, dog. I would have been like, you finna give me my role because we not finna sit here and not play fair when I gave up my, like I would have fought more. Like I wanted to see Susie fight a little bit more for the role that she wanted instead of being like, okay, fine, I'll just take this
fight role. And still not get it. That would
fight and still not get it, maybe, but I wanted to see her fight. I wanted to see her fight for it a little bit more.
I loved that when they were discussing it, Sam said like, oh, because Jules got the part that she wanted for the musical, and Susie said, oh, okay, and I didn't. But I loved when Lana said, okay, but does it need to be fair?
Right.
Great question.
True.
No, it doesn't.
And that's what Lexi's like, nope.
Love it. Nope.
I love that the girls are like, we're not gonna be going by the rules up in here every single week. Like just because you ain't get it last week, that's fine, and you ain't gonna get it this week. Like right. I don't mind that in this competition sense because they are down to the top. What 6,
7?
So it's like. Absolutely not. We don't have to be fair in this. This is a competition. And you are so comfortable doing monologues. Why would we give you a monologue? Absolutely not. You do something that you aren't comfortable with. But I still want to see Susie do it and then just completely flop at it. And then be humble. Sit down. Be humble. But okay.
Also,
Logan?
Lydia only like wanting the proctologist role because it was about
buttholes.
I mean, that makes sense, but also like I don't.
Girl,
stretch outside of the box a little bit, Lydia. I get it. You like buttholes.
Pun intended, Lana.
Yes,
stretch it all a little bit.
Stretch it all over
just
the place.
Relax.
Relax and stretch it out, baby. Just.
I think Corey's doing a good job at that already. So
I mean,
got that covered.
Well,
but and oh, don't worry. Now that Jules has this role, it means that Susie is playing Felicity, whatever the fuck her name is, and that means oh god, Lexi has to work with Susie. Oh god, sound the alarms. Wee woo, wee woo. Lexi, girl, get out of your fucking head.
Truly,
all
she
this
is
over
her
Susie?
worst enemy.
Over Susie.
Like, girl.
Seriously.
Like, she's talented. Like, Susie's objectively incredibly talented.
Yeah. I just feel like...
But here's the thing. I get it. It's because they both won their talent show, the first episode. And so they started off in the same place. And Susie has done better after that than Lexi has in the competition. So she is getting in her own head. And it's not about Susie because it could have been any of the other girls if they were doing if it was the same situation. So
and we talked about it last week. We talked about like this entire like Lexi, like we're not even seeing, and I would say less so this week than last week. We're not even seeing Lexi love. We're seeing Lexi's inner saboteur. Yep. Like we are not seeing Lexi right now. We are seeing her inner saboteur manifesting. And that's what we're seeing. And that's who we're seeing throughout at least last week. And we're seeing a little bit of it present this week. I think this week she just got a little bit more comfortable because I think actually working with Susie played to her advantage. Like she was able to play off of Susie's energy. And we'll talk about the challenge, but I think it actually really worked in her favor. And I hope that moving forward, she can just get the fuck out of her head because she's stupid talented and doesn't need to be worrying about someone who's got a complete opposite skill set to her. Now, if they did the exact same kind of drag, if Susie was up in here doing flip splits on skates back to back to back to back to back,
Or
and wearing
fashion,
and wearing
like runway, like no.
and wearing
girl.
trains every episode, then you know what? I would understand why Lexi was getting in her head. But I'm like, girl, you don't need to get in your head like this.
Yeah. But I kind of love her for that though. Like that, just it makes her so relatable because we're watching it and like we see ourselves, a lot of us.
I 100% see myself in a lot of what Lexi's doing.
Yeah, it's just a shame because I feel like it's dragging down her performance, her likability, and all of that. And it's like, okay, this is gonna be a weird thing, but in Romeo and Juliet, there's this whole like Romeo versus Tabolts, which is Juliet's cousin, and then Romeo's like, either thou or I or both must die, and that's how I feel about them. Like one of them has to go or both of them has to go because it's not working out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Lexi's inner saboteur is driving me nuts. Yeah. And I know if it's driving me nuts as if you were watching it, I know it was probably 100 times harder for her. But it's getting to the point where I don't even want to see either her or Susie Toot on my screen. Like, because it's like it's becoming such a story for no reason at all. It's such a story for no reason at all. And it's not that important. It's not like it was. But
it's too much and too little at the same time. Like too big, but also too small.
It's just like, why are we talking about this? But we're making this mountain out of a molehill. Like, why?
But I will say, because Lexi did mention, I don't know where or when, that her being on hormones really played a lot into that. And so
I read it last week.
I agree, but I get it, and I give her, space and grace for that.
Totally.
But I agree.
I get that 100%. Look, being hormonal is no fun at all.
We get it.
Hello. We get it. And there's those moments where you're just like, I can't control this foolishness and I don't know why this foolishness is happening, but it annoys the crap out of you because you're like, this is not normal. And this is not that big of a deal, but I'm making it a huge deal for what reason? So I get it.
And it's not a big deal, but
you can't
stop yourself. But you
and I think that's what Lexi is feeling like. She knows this is not a big deal. She knows that Susie Toot is not the end all be all of her existence in this competition. But because those feelings are amplified by 100, or in Lexi's case, 100,000 in this pressure cooker of a situation.
Or 200,000.
In this pressure cooker situation, it's just she does not know where to start or stop with this Susie Toot, and it's driving everybody crazy. I'm sure those girls are like, I'm sick of hearing about Lexi Susie Toot because there is no Lexi Susie Toot. It's Lexi versus Lexi putting it on Susie. Like Susie is not sitting up there like, I'm here doing this for you. Like that's not the case. It's just
it's Lexi versus Lexi's inner saboteur that's shaped like Susie Toot.
It's wild. It's
wearing
wild.
a Susie Toot costume
and like
wearing a suit, wearing a Susie Toot costume that looks like Corey King dressed as Susie Toot. That's what it is.
But to a degree, like there's such a inflated sense of self that Susie has, and I think the girls are just buying into it. I think they're seeing how much she believes in herself, and they're like,
"Well, we should believe that too,
good, right? She must be that good."
And I'm like, y'all, look at what's happening. She was not good at the snatch game at all. Like, her snatch game was horrible. She was safe in the Rusical. She has not been that great in all of these challenges that y'all want to make it out for Susie Toot to be so great in. She's been safe. So she is not as good as she is not doing as well as I guess they got it in their mind she's doing. Like, hello. Other people got better track records than her or the same track record as her. Like, what do you mean? I would be more scared of Sam and Anya than I would be of Susie Toot at this point if I was like Lexi or Lana or anybody else. Like, come on. I would
it's
be
very
more
peacock.
It's
like
very showy. But I think that is the plan and the strategy of Miss Susie Toot. And I will give her props for that because she is making them shake for what reason? No reason at all. But she got them so pressed And it's so fun. The only person who is not pressed by Susie too is on your nerves because she called you out on your bull. She like, Susie, I see. Like last week at the roast, she's like, I see what you're doing, Susie. You're not fooling nobody. We know what you're doing. You trying to do this, so I'm not pressed by you. But everybody else seems to be so pressed by Susie too because Susie is making them believe she is better than what she actually is, and they falling for it.
And I think that the other interesting thing that I want to bring up, as the person here that does like Susie the most out of, I like Susie the most out of anyone here.
Yes,
I think the interesting thing about the relationship specifically between Anya and Susie is that I think the reason Anya is not pressed by Susie is because there's a mutual level of respect there.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think any of the other girls left in the competition really understand Susie's drag all that much. And we've heard them talk about it many times. And a lot of it has been girls that have been in the competition. Like Joella talked about it. Corey talked about it. Like a lot of the girls just do not understand the specific point of view that Susie comes from. And I get that. It's not for everyone. But there is, like y'all have been saying, there's this level of confidence that she's coming in with. Has she slayed all of these comedy challenges? No. Has she flopped any of them, though? No. And this is a very
Snatch
comedy...
Game was kind of a flop for me, but okay.
There were bigger flops. There were bigger flops in the Snatch Game.
Sure.
Snatch Game was not her shining moment by any means of the imagination. And I love Little Shop. And I sat up here and I said I was disappointed with Miss Two on that day.
She doesn't have a list.
That does not have a list.
No. But like she has been doing very consistently well. I just think Anya is the only person that actually understands and respects Susie enough to see her as competition, because otherwise I think a lot of the girls are like, yeah, she's competition, but like whatever, she's not gonna win. Like they're writing her off as if like, oh, she's good, but like whatever. And it feels a little immature from some of the girls. That's just the way that I see it.
I think it's a little bit of the opposite of that. I think they're not writing her off that she's not going to win. They're writing her all up until the point where they think she already has the win. And Anya is like, nah, I don't think that's the case. I think the other girls feel like, Susie, that's why Lexi is so wild and crazy right now, is because she feels like Susie already has the win. She's already given Susie the win. And I think a lot of girls feel like the confidence level that she has, she already has the win. And so they don't feel like they don't feel like they need to, they just don't understand it. I get the not understanding. I think they wrote her up so much that they're not believing in themselves a lot. But Anya's like, nah, no. And I think Sam is getting to that point where like, no, I'm not going to write her up. Like, I'm not going to write myself off. Like, I don't have a chance in this competition. I still do have a chance in this competition. I think a couple of people feel like they don't. And so they're writing her up much higher than what they should. Because also, everybody has a chance.
Anya is the one person doing better than Susie in the challenges that Susie thought she was going to win. So, like, why would she be?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Anyway.
But we move.
Was there anything that stood out in the recording of the challenge for anyone?
Lydia and Sam, like, getting closer and kind of like the friendship blossoming was very nice to watch and throughout the whole episode. But like,
I had forgotten that right after when we did like Raid a Queen. Remember Raid a Queen? Remember how we started the season with Raid a Queen?
Look, remember Lucky Stars?
Remember Lucky Stars?
Oh,
I do. I do remember.
Have you all remembered the Ella today?
I try not to.
I forget about the Ella every day.
I will never let you forget the Ella.
Oh, I forgot.
But no,
one thing that stood out to me, and this kind of has to do with later on, but it really did feel like what happened in the rehearsals, if they messed up, all of that did not factor into the judging. And thank God, because it should be the final product. Because there was definitely like times where I'm like, oh my gosh, Lexi keeps flubbing this line. I'm like, she's sealed her fate. She's in the bottom too, no matter what. but we'll talk about what it ended up being. But I just like that the mistakes, like even Lana's boob falling down.
That was
I
so
don't think
funny.
that, it was hilarious, but I don't think that factored into anything because it wasn't in the final product.
Yeah.
So, I
Or
like
like
seeing
forgetting lines or messing
Mhm.
up lines. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
we're-
think
Good. It shouldn't.
it shouldn't. I don't think practice,
No.
because what's the point of practice if we go judge people on practices?
I don't know if you aren't getting the dance moves right away in the rusical, even if you get them in the moment on the rusical, maybe you should get critiqued for that.
Say that.
and that's why Jamal Sims should not be a judge anymore. You want to know
Damn.
why I don't think it was brought up in the final critique, David? Because Michelle Visage was not the director.
Could be.
Ooh.
I love Michelle. I loved Michelle with every fiber of my being. But it was so fucking refreshing to have Cheyenne Jackson
I
as
love
the
Cheyenne.
director here. I love
It
Cheyenne.
was fun.
Bring
Yeah.
Cheyenne in for every acting challenge moving forward. I loved him in this.
I mean, I
It was-
think
Or Fortune, for that matter.
Yes.
Bring
Lonnie,
her back. It's been a while.
You know, I just realized I think Cheyenne Jackson, his first name and last name are state capitals, aren't they?
yes,
I wonder what his
Correct.
middle name is.
Cheyenne Lincoln Jackson.
Cheyenne Phoenix Jackson.
It's all that. He's very much
It's
Cheyenne
Jefferson
Omaha
City.
Jackson.
Jefferson
Cheyenne
City.
Montgomery Jackson.
Cheyenne Brasilia.
Jackson. Yes.
Celia Jackson.
I mean, sure, but I think they don't need to have the guest judge as the director of the of anything, because or any judge on the panel.
You don't think
As the-
Sam Smith should have been the director?
No, Sam Smith should not have been the director. I appreciate that he wasn't.
Yeah.
But because of what we saw with Jamal and how he took what was being said or what was happening during the rehearsals and bringing it to the main stage. For what reason? If it was the rehearsal and they got it, like Anya got the part, she got the steps when she got to the musical. Why are you bringing up the fact that she can't get 8 counts that fast? It doesn't matter. She went home and practiced it and got it. And was
Otherwise, she'd have 4 wins by now.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But
But-
I do agree. But if it was if it was about like the way that you acted or reacted or like behavior things in rehearsal or filming, that I think would be fair to bring up on like the critiques. But if it's just messing up when it's not like on,
Mhm.
it doesn't.
I mean,
That doesn't
but that's why we have rehearsals. That's why we have practices. It's
Exactly.
like
That's
it's
why
like-
it's for.
that's what I'm learning. I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm figuring out the character. I'm figuring out the script. So let me figure this out before you sit there and say, "Oh, it took you 18 takes to get that right." Okay, so and I got it. Like,
And what-
let me practice.
What's interesting is like we saw some of the girls like go as hard as often as possible so they could get it right.
Mhm.
But then we saw Lydia. She had this big line, and Ross made a pretty big like point. And Cheyenne, they were both like, "This is a very important line. This is the funniest line of the whole sketch." And then Lydia, like, eventually was like, "Yeah, I think I got it." And Ross was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I wish you were taking that hint a little bit, girl, because she definitely was not nailing that like I felt like she could have done."
No.
She
Mhm.
turned it up a little bit after he gave her the note, but like then when she turned it up a little bit, he was like, "Do you want to do it?" She was like, "No, it's good." What do you mean? Like, bring in more drama. Like hit
Like,
the
he's
word.
asking
like,
me
it
that
was-
for a reason.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Take the critiques.
And it was such a
listen to
good
what's happening.
line. Like, so much potential.
Prostate wants what it wants.
What's
Okay,
the
let's all do
prostate
it. Let's do it. Logan, you start off.
The prostate wants what it wants.
That was good. That was good.
Thank you.
Let's hear it, Lana.
The prostate wants what it wants.
That was good.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go. The prostate wants what it wants.
Oh,
Okay.
that was
Okay,
dramatic.
actor.
Actor.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, River.
The prostate wants what it wants.
I felt that at the end.
Like, give it to me.
Give
I
it to
want
me.
it. Please.
Period.
I think
Let us know in the comments who was your favorite.
who you felt the most. Who,
Yep.
who gave. And why is it River?
And why is it me?
And why is it Lydia?
And why is it Lydia?
Why is it
Why
really
is it
Lydia?
Lydia?
All right.
Why is it not Lydia? Is the question.
But the other big thing to bring up is with all of the hullabaloo going on,
Oh,
Jules is sitting there for a damn while.
4 hours?
Because
She said?
hours. She gets the crossfade of the yawning and the yawning. And then she just has this cute little moment with Cheyenne, where Cheyenne's like, how you doing? Like, I love Cheyenne. I just love him. I'm glad that he has become part of the Drag Race zeitgeist. Like, just after some recurring moments on the show. Like, I'm glad he's a featured recurring guest star. But then when she comes in, she does come in with really good energy. But the concern is she's kind of blending some elements from the original New York monologue with this Chicago monologue that she has that obviously is a little bit different because it's Ross and there's some like tweaks. And so it's like, is she going to nail it? Is she not going to nail it? Who knows? We'll talk about it.
First of all, as far as the yawning goes, I don't know if you all do this, but for me, like anytime I would have to like do like a drama production or a speech or whatever, the only outward like nervous tick I would have is while I was waiting, I would just yawn a lot. So when she was doing that, I was like, is this like nervous yawning? Because she's just like anticipating like I need to get to this, or was she actually just
and now
tired?
I'm thinking about yawning, so I'm yawning.
I mean, I do that when I sing. Well, because yawning helps open your vocal cords. And so that is a thing that we are taught when you're singing, like, yawn it out, open, and it's like, and that's a vocal exercise that you do to open up your vocal cords and get all of your octave range. So it helps. It definitely helps. I don't know if she was yawning because she was tired, but if she was yawning because she was tired, then fine. But if you're yawning to get prepared for your, whatever vocal thing you're going to do, then that means she's been trained and she knows what she's doing. She's like, that's a thing. You look stupid. You look wild doing it. You look crazy, but nobody's saying preparing for singing or acting is going to make you be cute. It's not cute. It's very weird.
Also, having to sit in drag for 4 hours, like waiting, like
and
my god, and just nothing to do but watch.
At least you got to say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, baby, I would have been like, you couldn't tell me that I had to stand up for 30 minutes just sitting here. I'm like, baby, it's fine.
Well, on the main stage, the critiques take like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, I know, and I've been taking off my shoes, baby. I've been sitting on that stage barefoot. They're not finna, no.
Right.
No.
So we go to Elimination Day in the workroom. There's no like heavy moment, but we're freestyling.
Everybody feels
It's
good.
fun, silly, so good.
I said, baby Sam, I love you, but do not ever rap again in your life, in your foreseeable future, because a certain thing called rhythm, and you were lacking it in your raps. You was rapping on the 1-3 and not on the 2-4. It's just like, I don't want that. But your rap was cute, I guess.
Oh, the way I thought that Sam cleared both Lana and Anya.
I mean, the words,
yes.
the words
the
were
words.
there. The rhythm was not there. He was rapping on the 1-3 and not the 2-4.
Not the he.
Not the he.
He was, because he wasn't drag yet. Look, he wasn't drag yet, so it was he. He wasn't drag yet. When she was full drag, she was rapping on the 1-3. See, I differentiate the two.
Samuel Starr, the gayest queen.
Samuel Starr was doing the rapping, but Samuel Starr was rapping on the 1 and the 3.
Like, I can't help it. He was just so masked during that rap.
He
wasn't
full drag on
about,
that.
you bitches suck.
Yeah.
Swerve
On my nerves.
Because Anya's on my nerves. I was like, okay.
It was cute though. It was a cute moment, I will say.
It was a fun moment, like just watching them play around together and just have fun after such a heavy kind of episode last week. Like it was just a good palate cleanser.
And after a couple of heavy episodes, like we've had some like heavy Emmy moments this season. Like I was happy to see it was very like lighthearted. We also get like, I guess the conclusion of the Sam and Lydia friendship. We talked about it a little bit throughout this episode too, but they're like, we got the moment at the start of the season where they weren't really getting along because of the Rated Queen situation, and their drag is just so different, and they weren't, getting along. And now they're like, oh no, we're friends. Oh, how adorable. And I was like, oh, how adorable for you.
But did any of you honestly think of that as a storyline before this episode?
No.
Never
I did
once
not
was
even
I
think
like,
about
oh.
Sam and
No,
Lydia
they had to
together or not
hand-fist it in
together.
because one of them was going home.
Yep. And we did learn Lydia wanted to be a proctologist since she was a kid. The way I believed her for a second. I was like,
that
really?
would not have surprised me at all. But, to find out that wasn't true, I'm like, oh, I'm a little disappointed. I wanted that to be true.
Right.
That would have made all sense to me with the whole butthole fascination. That would have made the most sense. But, I'm a little
also it would be very
true.
questionable. Like, why would you be thinking about that when you're 5 years old? Anyway.
I mean, a doctor is a doctor, and sometimes you are fascinated by the most weirdest things as a child.
And speaking of proctology, shall we talk about the challenge?
I mean, I
We
guess
shall.
Unless there's something else.
Oh.
No, put River back.
There's River.
Not
just because I did better than you on the acting challenge, you're gonna just leave me out?
No, it's because you reset before we started recording.
Then it's
Were
my
we going
fault.
to talk about RuPaul or no?
No, because we talk about the judges now and look over here.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to say, I feel like that hair was her promo hair.
I believe it was.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Challenge.
Well, are we going to talk about the duos or individually?
Individually?
Individually. Okay. So Lana, to me, I was it was a very good, not that much of a surprise because of the roast last episode, but because the last acting challenge, she was kind of just okay. And here she did much better than she did on the other acting challenge, like the RDR Live. And she took the note perfectly with like doing the same line 3 times, but like in very different ways. And it really worked. But then I agree with what the judges said that like when Anya came in, it kind of was all about Anya. But I still think that Lana held her own, because if it was 2 people like doing the most, it would maybe be like too much. So I feel like she was a good balance. And the one thing, negative note, is that I caught for like a second on the first slap that she kind of went out of character. She laughed a little bit and I could tell. But that was literally like the only negative thing that I could really say about Lana's performance, because it was pretty good.
Where'd you rank her?
I ranked her at 5 because everyone did good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even my 2 least favorites, I still thought were good enough.
Yep.
So it's all by default.
Okay, fair. Yeah, and first of all, I want to say I love that Twitter has been actually really mad about Lana being in the bottom 2. They're like, "What? You're telling me she was in the bottom 2?" And this is such a change from what Twitter used to be doing with Lana. With that said, I think she did really well. But I do think everybody did really well. There were times where I could see her acting a little bit, and I really think the biggest disadvantage for her was that her scene partner had such a clear characterization. So when you you can't like quickly and concisely give a characterization for Lana's person. It kind of just pales in comparison a little bit, but I still really liked what she did. It was so much better than I anticipated, and she was so good at taking the notes. But honestly, by default, I did have her at number 6, but like honestly, it could have been a bottom 1 for me.
one. Not a bottom one. You are gone because everybody did better than you. Automatically, you're done. I really liked Lana's performance in this. I thought she was really good. I agree with you, River, when you said if we had two people who was so over the top, it would have been just a little much for the scene. So I liked Lana's subtlety compared to Anya's huge like big personality because you need that. It was the levels. It was the levels that that scene needed because if both of them were both like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my, we'd be like, oh god, too much, too much, too much. But it was a sense of Lana was a more seasoned star, and Big Fupa was the newer upcoming star. And so Lana's star was like, look, like she didn't have to be that over the top because she's been in the game for a little bit longer than Fupa. So I got it and I appreciated her. I liked her in this. I personally wouldn't have put her in the bottom two for this performance and this runway because I felt like she kind of nailed this. But I understand, what they were going. To me, she was. I would have put her 5. I agree. Well, she would have been 5 for me. You're muted.
I
You being silenced.
silenced myself. That was more like pop punk, like.
Yeah.
Silenced myself.
Yeah.
What I was saying before I silenced myself. I'm really happy that as the season has gone on, I've really, really started to like Lana a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is the person that I have really grown to really, really like the most. Like I've gone I liked her at the start of the season. I'm glad that we're seeing a lot more of her personality now, and I think that really showed a lot in this challenge. I think she felt very comfortable in the role. After getting the critique in the actual filming, I think she played the role really well. She does very well in this, like, quote unquote, straight man character. She did a little bit of that in RDR Live, where I think she did really well. And I think she did a little bit of that in the Rusical as well, where I also think she did really well. I thought she knocked this out of the park. I think her and Anya, for me, had the best duo performance. I actually have Lana at number 4. I wouldn't have had her anywhere close to the bottom, and I was really impressed with her.
Good.
Well, but then we got to talk about Anya Nerve because from the moment she came in to the moment it was over, it was perfect. The tone, the timing, the physical comedy, the facial expressions, the nails were like the nails was the second lead, and Lana was supporting actress. Like, truly, a great supporting actress, but she really, Anya and the nails stole the scene. Every beat, like I loved every choice that she made, where she chose to go big, and like it had levels. It was so good. This is one that I'm gonna be rewatching when I want like to laugh and feel good and like just I'm gonna be rewatching this for sure. She was my by far number 1. Period.
Yeah, she's number 1 for sure. Yeah, she immediately comes out with personality. I don't know how much say they had in the styling of their characters, but I freaking love how she styled this character. Like the wig, the nails, everything just was perfect. I meant to mention this earlier, but when they were like talking about the characters, I thought they kept saying Big Poopa, and I thought it was like Big Papa. Like Notorious B.I.G. And so I was like, oh, it's Big Fupa. Okay, I get it now. But yes, the nails were the star. Her eyes were the supporting characters, because that's all I was seeing at first was nails and eyes just popping out. Nails and eyes. And my favorite part was when she was doing the
Looking at the panties and at Lana. Yeah.
Yes.
So good.
I was living for that. Yes, number one. She 100%. No other win would have been justifiable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anybody else, I would have been like, stop playing. Stop playing with on your nerves. If you were not giving her this win, they psycho. But she ate this up. Like everything about this moment was so funny. And like you said, she just had great timing. She knew exactly what to do, when to make the moves. And when she came out, was like, big poop buzz here. And just kept slapping her. Like I love stupid stuff like that. She's so funny, and it seems so natural. Like it just felt like she was just like, okay, I'm gonna be this character. I'm the character, be the character. And she just was. Like, you believed that was who she was in that moment. I loved it. I thought she was so funny. I think I agree with you, Logan. I think this is or River. This is my favorite duo. Whoever said that. I don't remember who said. This is my favorite duo. Like, they both had highlights for me in this that I was like, this scene was super enjoyable. There was no part of a scene where I was like,
It was the best scene overall, right?
Overall, they just had it. Like they worked off of each other really well. And I just enjoyed them. I think Anya definitely deserved this win. Nobody else could have had this win over her. Nobody.
No single other person should have won this challenge other than Anya Nerve. Period. Point blank. End of story.
Slam dunk.
This challenge. This is a clinic in how to perform in a scripted acting challenge on Drag Race.
She ate.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to stick with her, kind of how like the Flag Factory stuck with Simone. Like this feels like her moment, like that.
And I'm starting.
People are going to be doing the.
And I'm starting to think that this is going to be the moment that we see in future videos of, the moment that blank won their season. And I think at this point, I think it's Anya's season to lose. And I am not mad at it in the slightest.
I'm here for it. I've been on a journey with her, and I love that it's come to this.
Yeah.
The journey with Anya is so fun, though. It's just like, we got on the ride with her at the beginning. It was like, okay, I don't really know. A lot of us slept on her. A lot of us slept on her in preseason, me included. And so I'm like, now we're watching. It's like we just strapped in and just enjoyed this ride, and it's been so good. And it's like, oh my God, even if you didn't like everything she did along the way, you still had a sense of like, but it's something about her. It's always something about underlining. I ain't like that she took Jules' trim, but it's something about her. I ain't like that she said this to somebody and she seemed a little rude, but it's something about her.
I don't like that she accidentally spray painted Lexi's gross, ugly tarp and then didn't say anything about it immediately.
But it's something about her. It's always like, even in her wrongs, it's still somewhat right.
You know what it is?
You know what it was for me? When she stood up for Jules in last week's Untucked. I was like, you know what? I'm with you. I'm with you.
Because she's got the nerve.
I think it's see, for me, it was way before that. It's all, like I said, it was always something underlining right about Anya Nerves. Even when she was wrong, it was something right about her. And it's just, I just can never shake that.
I think for me, it was that first design challenge when everybody was coming for her, when she made that green dress and she walked down the runway and delivered the perfect runway walk. And that's when I was like, okay, I think I like this one, because I did 4 different drafts for this season, and I tried to spread my drafts out very thin so I would have a bunch of different people. I ended up drafting like 10 different people among my 4 drafts. Did not draft Anya in any of them.
Wow.
Did not draft Jules in any of them. And here they are, my 2 favorites.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
I think I did 2, and I never had either one of them either. And they are like my favorites. So yeah, it makes it, like I said, it's something so right about Anya Nerves, even when she's wrong. It's something right about her. So she ate this one up though.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's move to Shamstar.
Someone else that she was. I'm gonna say it out the gate. She was my second favorite, for sure. Like no one came
Choose
close
across the board,
to,
I'm sure.
No, yeah.
Yeah, no one came
No.
close to number one, and no one else came close to number two for me.
Well,
Okay.
2 for
No.
me.
That's
No,
it.
I disagree.
Well,
Okay,
for me,
we'll hear the disagreement later.
for me, we'll see. We'll see later. But for me, she started off very, very Blanche. Like the first, until my favorite part was the wrist lipo. I was like, doesn't it look bony? Like, it's so good. And then the quick and dramatic switch from like the happy, like very, to like, oh my god, depressed, like, she was acting. And I loved how she turned up the southernness and the accent and just the whole, and then talking with the hands. It was just very good and very much what it needed to be. Like, it was very, very clear character, and it worked in every level from start to finish. She was very good.
Yeah, I agree. Clear number 2 for me. I think she had such a strong characterization, and it's interesting because she was playing a Southern lady, so you might feel like, oh, I've already seen this from Sam. I already know what to expect. But she really showed there are different kinds of Southern ladies. There are different ways you could spin it. So she put like a stamp on it that I wasn't quite expecting, and it just really worked for me. Even her glares that she was doing were just so strong and piercing, and I'm like, you're glaring into my soul right now. So I'm so impressed with Sam. She's another one that like probably half of the season so far, I was like, she's good, but I'm not connecting. I have been connecting with her lately. I'm really liking Sam. She's in my top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam has, like I said, when she hit that breakthrough, that was it the Rusical when she did share? When she did share and she hit that breakthrough, she has stepped on the gas full throttle, has not turned back. She finally hit her stride and she was like, okay, this is what I need to do. And that is the pageant girl in her. She had to find her niche and figure out what is going to work, and then she is going to perfect what works. That's what you have to do in pageants, and that is what she's doing in this competition. She has taken that aspect and she has just moved. She knows, I gotta be a little silly. I gotta be a little less polished. I gotta be a little less perfect in order to win stuff for like comedy and things like that. And she's done that. She ate this part up. Like, she went from the oh my god, Southern, like just like that. And it was so good. Like, she was acting. She was doing what we want to see in our actors. They act, and it's like, okay. And then when she was with Lydia, who wasn't giving everything, who wasn't giving all, she was able to pick up the slack a little bit. She was able to keep the scene interesting, even when Lydia was giving us, just this baseline. Because Lydia was not bad. She just wasn't great. She was just very monotone and very not expressive. Sam had enough of that energy for the both of them that it made the scene still enjoyable to watch. So I think Sam was definitely my number 2. And I enjoyed her a lot.
Yeah, I'm the only one that doesn't have Sam at number 2. I don't have her very far off. I have her number 3.
What?
I think she did a very good job in this challenge.
Just say it. You hate her.
No, she is my only remaining draft team member. I do like Sam very much. I think she's very lovely. There is one specific reason, and I'll talk about it when I get to the person I have at number 2. There's one specific reason why I have someone above Sam in my ranking. And it has nothing to do with Sam, actually, particularly. I think Sam did a great job for all the reasons that you all said. I think she acted really well. I do wish she had picked another character so we could see another dimension of character development from Sam. I would like to see her do something other than Southern character. I appreciated that we did get Cher from her in the Rusical, but there wasn't really a Southern character for her to choose in the Rusical. So it's kind of, anytime she has had the opportunity to play a Southern character, she has. I would like to see something different from her. I will say that much. But to your point exactly, David, she has given us dimension on what it means to play a Southern woman, and I do appreciate that. Her physical comedy was really good. She, like you said, Lana, she did really bring up the energy when it came to her scene overall. I think she did a good job.
Absolutely.
Also, I loved all of the "it's not right, but it's okay" references
Yes.
from the
Oh,
writing.
the entire
yes.
the fact that the back half of her entire scene was just quoting Whitney Houston.
Literally the lyrics.
8. Literally 8. I was like, you better go. I love it.
Mhm.
Again, the writers. Come on, writers. Y'all better do your big ones.
Getting
here.
it together.
Thank you.
Work.
Thank you. Finally.
Mhm. I mean, it was about time. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. But then Lydia, see, here's my thing. She was my two least favorites. I put like 6/7 because they did equally as bad in my opinion. They both had good moments and bad moments, and it was just, whatever. But Lydia started off well. I really like. She has kind of. She reminds me of Aubrey Plaza, like the tone, the way that she speaks, especially like on the roast. They gave me very that, like the deadpan kind of thing, that kind of humor, which I really enjoy. But here's the thing: I enjoyed it in the beginning of the scene, but then the scene was all that. So it was just one note. So it was good in the beginning, but then it didn't go anywhere. And like we mentioned when we talk about the filming, she didn't take advantage of the best line that she had. Like even that could have been like her bigger moment, and it was just kind of the same level as everything else. So even though she didn't flop by any means, and she had funny moments, it just was not enough. Like I wanted it more camp, more. It was, so she was unfortunately on my bottom two.
Yeah, like I said, I think everybody did good this episode, but I think Lydia is the only one that didn't really go for it like everybody else. Like it felt a little bit more internal. And honestly, I think maybe she has this thing where she doesn't want to look stupid, so she's not willing to fully commit to a character and go all out. And I think with this character, you needed to go out quite a bit more than she did. It was just way too reserved. The voice was kind of monotone throughout. I do like her facial expressions. I think that's where she thrived, was she had like good subtle facial expressions and big facial expressions, but I wanted to see that in the movement as well and in the voice inflection. Her highlight for me was when the water got thrown on her and then she spits out the water. I was like, okay, that was funny. Yeah. But she was number 7 for me, a pretty clear number 7. She was the one that could have lip synced alone.
I would have never guessed. Thank you for the clarification.
I kind of figured, but yeah. I think Lydia's, she had moments. She was, like you said, she had good moments throughout. It just wasn't a complete scene. Like I want to see all of this from her. Like I want more from her. I think the judges were right. It was like you were on the cusp of something really, really good, and you just didn't push it. You just stayed right below greatness. Like you could have got to the point of just really, really good, and you just stayed right underneath. Yeah. It wasn't horrible. It just wasn't enough. And especially when you're standing next to Sam, who's giving you all this energy. We just watched Anya and Lana just kill a scene with so much energy. And you come behind and it's like, they're here. And you're just right here. And you're just staying there. You're just staying there. It wasn't bad. Just wasn't enough. It was like, I just need that extra oomph behind it. She was last for me. Absolutely.
Same. I won't beat the dead horse of all of the things, because I agree with all of the things that you all have said. What I will praise her for is her physical comedy, because I think her physical comedy was the best part of what she did in this acting challenge. her fight with Sam, I think, was kind of the highlight of the routine. And then at the very end, my favorite thing from Lydia is when all of them throw the water on Ross and she has her glove in the glass and she throws the water with the glove on Ross. That was my favorite part of the whole thing. I loved that. But ultimately, yeah, she just wasn't at the same level as everybody else, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then Miss Susie Toot with Anya Nerve's wig. That really, oh my God. We'll get to that because
we cannot penalize her for using someone else's wig and not having the lace be the right color.
I'm just saying it was really funny. Like it was
fucking hilarious.
I don't mind it,
Lana,
but it was
Lana
hilarious.
Yeah, so the wig that Susie's wearing in the challenge is Anya's wig, so that's why the lace line looks
She talked about it on the main.
She talked about it on the show.
RuPaul asked, was this wig, was that wig made for a black woman?
Yeah.
Sorry, Lana, I thought it was just Untucked.
No, it was literally on the show. Like, I saw that.
Sorry, my bad.
But it was clockable the moment she walked in. I was like, oh.
Well, yes.
Okay. But besides that, I think Susie did just fine.
Yeah.
Like she was good, but there were no standout moments for me. She was just gave a solid performance, but nothing. It didn't really have levels either. It was just kind of here all the time, but it was good technically, right? But it didn't really make me laugh, or it didn't really go anywhere. The scene really started to work for me when Lexi came in. And so that's why I'm kind of like, It was not bad. She was not the worst, but it was not, there was no effect on me by any means. So I had Susie at number 4, but very, like, pretty much tied with Lana for me, honestly, like 4 and 5.
Okay. Yeah, I think acting wise, Susie did very well. I think she was definitely one of the best in this challenge. Like, she had her moments, like especially the like mouth quiver when she was like gasping. That was like a characterization tick that is going to stick with me. So I like that. I like doing something memorable, even if it did feel like that was kind of pulling from her Audrey Carrot Snatch Game character a little bit. But I will say, visually, she was the person that I had issues with. And I'm glad they brought up the wig, because I was like, what is up with this lace line? And I am going to penalize her for it, because if she put that on and she checked in the mirror and saw that it was that noticeable, then she should have done something about it. She should have found a different wig. She should have switched it up. Not only that, but why is her face so white? Like, I did not like how flushed out her face was. So there were just visually things that were distracting me. And I'm like, if you're doing things visually that distracts me from your performance, that's not good. I have to knock you for it. I didn't knock her that much. She's number 5 for me.
I'm with you, David. I am going to penalize her for that, because you saw it. You know what it looked like. You didn't just put it on and walk out. You looked in the mirror, you fixed it, and you saw it. My thing is, she should have changed her makeup a little bit and made herself a little bit more bronzer instead of so white and flushed out, because then it would have made sense with the line. Like, you could cover up, and all you had to do was conceal the top of your head, and it would look like it was going into the wig. Contour that part of, because number one, I understand her not wanting to change the color of the lace front, because if Anya wants to wear that again, that is her wig, which was fitted to her skin tone. Mm-hmm. What you need to do, if you're going to wear it and borrow it, adjust your skin tone to go with the wig. So just contour it a little bit up.
Raven it up.
Absolutely. We've seen it happen. We've seen them do it. We've seen her do it. But and I'm not saying go full bronze on the whole face. Just at the top hairline. Just, make it darker up here, which is natural, could be a natural looking hairline, because if your makeup is a little bit darker toned, then you having a darker hairline is okay. It's okay.
And with the character being based on a housewife, it would make
In
sense.
Jersey, and you'd be like, I'm a Jersey housewife. You could have changed it up a little bit,
No,
even if that's.
I'm gonna counter that real quick because her character was based on Lisa Vanderpump.
It doesn't matter. It's not. You don't have
But it
to
doesn't
be
She's not from Jersey.
No, Lisa
You don't have to
Vanderpump
be
is
Lisa.
the whitest woman possible.
Okay, but here's the thing: the act of itself was the character was a housewife character, right? It didn't have to specifically be Lisa Vanderpump herself. It could just be her name was whatever Vander.
It was
Felicity
Felicity
Slanderpump.
Slanderpump. Like
Right, so
the
in that-
insinuation is that it's supposed to be based on Lisa Vanderpump. So I think the reasoning for the makeup is just to make her like I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not agreeing with it whatsoever. I do think I think the reasoning is that she wanted to look a little bit paler because Lisa is an incredibly pale woman.
But then why is she wearing
Then
a
why did
blonde
that
wig?
wig?
I agree with
If,
you. I agree with
if
you
you're trying to
completely.
look like Lisa, then you should try to look like her. Like
Seems
know
like
what I
she
mean?
was
If you're gonna
going
do-
for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, because that whole back and she
Right.
really was because that's
Okay,
what
well,
that.
actually, because Lexi did have the line. So you know what? Actually, yeah, because Lexi
Sure.
did have the bad Bill beach
And
blonde.
she did.
Uh-huh.
She had the Marjorie Taylor Greene
Maybe that's why.
line with the
Why?
eyelashes.
It's because of
and
that
whatever.
line.
Okay,
Because of
so
that line.
I justify everything Susie did in this challenge.
I mean, still the hairline doesn't make any sense because Marjorie Taylor Greene's hairline is not brown. Let's just be real. Let's. I get and Marjorie Taylor Greene is very much a tan. Like she tried to be
Mhm.
so tan that would have made sense. Like that.
I think she tried to do a cross between that woman and Lisa Vanderpump.
Maybe
It just didn't work.
it just didn't work
In
because
a
the
lie, it
hairline. I
was
agree
too
with you,
cerebral
David.
for us to understand.
It was.
Okay.
We are not
We
smart
would
enough to
never-
understand.
We're not
Too smart, and we
intellectual
just
enough.
can't understand
She's
it.
too smart.
We
She's
just
too
can't
smart.
understand it.
And I'm going to switch my rating because I thought she was safe. I thought she did fine. I think she was okay. She didn't do bad. She didn't do super great. She was fine. So I'm going to switch her and Lana. I think Lana will be 4 and she will be 5.
The way I was about to say the same thing, because I was like, wait.
Because
I
at
actually
least
thought
Lana
that
was
Lana
funny.
did better than Susie. Yeah.
And I think Lana was funnier and Lana did
Yep.
better than Susie. So Lana 4, Susie
Absolutely.
5.
And that's exactly where I
Same.
have them as well. I have Lana at 4 and Susie at 5. I think Susie did
There
a
you
good
go.
job. I'm not going to say she did a bad job. I think
No, she
five. I think 5 people did really well in this challenge. I would say Susie included. I think her line delivery was strong. I think her performance was stronger before Lexi came in. I'll say that.
Oh.
I think when it was just her and Ross, I think she was able to kind of give this like heiress Lisa Vanderpump kind of character really, really well. I think Lexi coming in, like, and we'll talk about it. I think Lexi overshadowed her a little bit. I think Lexi
sure.
did. I think Lexi kind of slayed for me. The other big note that I have is while I think Susie's acting was really good and I think her physical comedy was good, the character just felt a little one note, and Lisa Vanderpump is not a one note character. So I just would have liked a little bit of levels in the performance, but overall, not a bad showing from Miss Suzanne Elizabeth Toot herself.
But if I think we all agree that technically she would be in the bottom though.
She would have been low
If she's
safe for
number
me.
5.
We
Low
have 5s across the board.
She would be
Yeah,
the
she-
bottom that would be safe.
Yeah, she would have been low safe for me. Yep.
Yep. Okay. And Miss Lexi, I was worried when I saw the little preview, spoiler from last week, but and when we saw that she was working with Susie, I was like, oh my god, this can go either way. And it worked for her. I think she was able to feed off that energy and like maybe use it, like put it somewhere, all of that tension that she has inside, like just use it on the scene. And I think she did. She looked great. First of all, she looked so good. And I think she had levels, but it wasn't too much. Like it was just enough, I think. And definitely agree. I think that she overshadowed Susie. She did much better. And the standout moment for me was the ASMR moment. Like the face, the nostril flaring was very good. It really worked for me. I had Lexi at number 3.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Lexi after what we saw during the filming session.
Mhm.
And that's why I just really appreciated that she worked and worked and worked until she perfected the scene, and it really showed. She came out strong. She did overshadow Susie, which honestly is a challenge itself. And she looked some of the best that she ever has. Like, her makeup was so good in this. I'm like, this is a pretty woman. I love this. The only like little nitpick I had for her is ASMR section. I don't think she was fully doing the ASMR how it's supposed to be done. Like, Susie was giving full on ASMR and Lexi was just whispering. And whispering isn't really the same as just talking softly, you know. This is ASMR. This isn't ASMR. This is whispering. So it was just a
Lexi's
subtle
like
thing.
me. I can't do it either. I can only talk like this or whisper. I can't do the low. It's hard.
Yeah. But she was actually number 4 for me.
Oh, okay.
Wait, who did you have at number 3?
I guess we'll see.
Lana? Oh, was it? Oh,
We haven't been said yet.
Oh,
oh, we
well,
had- oh.
Well, then
well,
we know who it
yeah.
is.
Well,
Then
that's
we know
very
who it
interesting.
is. Okay, thanks. No, I thought Lexi came out and stole that scene from Susie. I thought it was a really good moment for Lexi. I think being in the scene with Susie rather, she finally realized that she can do it, and I think she needed that. I don't think Susie needed that. I think Lexi needed that more than Susie. And hopefully this cures and quiets down her inner saboteur, because she really did a good job in this situation playing off of her. I think the dynamic that they had together was interesting and it was good. It was a good dynamic between the two of them. I just liked how Lexi came in and just took over. She was just like, and yeah, she was whispering in the ASMR bar, but that was my favorite part of their whole scene, was between the two of them in that ASMR. I think that was so dang funny for both of them. They both ate that up for me. But I think Lexi just looked the part, and the way she was slinging that bag around and that purse around, and just was like, I don't know what you're talking. Like, I just loved her in this scene. I thought this was a great scene for her, a great week for her. She looked beautiful. She acted beautiful. She did not give up when she could have given up. We've seen her give up even during the Snatch Game when she gave up, and it was funny. But we've seen her give up like, oh well,
Yeah.
so soon. But this one, she just powered through it, and I love to see it. This was a good week for Lexi for me.
Yeah, I thought Lexi knocked us out of the park. She came in, she had the energy, she knew the character that she was there to portray. She knocked it out of the park. I understand what you were saying about the ASMR moment, David. I disagree. I actually think they gave two different sides of it, and I actually kind of liked both of their interpretations of the ASMR kind of moment. This shot that I pulled of Lexi with Susie's finger in her face is just like my favorite shot of the entire thing. Lexi's physical comedy really shined very strongly in this entire scene. I have Lexi at number 2. And like I talked about when we talked about Sam, the reason I have Lexi higher than Sam is because when it comes to the physical comedy of the rest of the scene after Lexi comes in, Lexi's physical comedy and reactions during Jules's part and during the back half of the scene, for me, was stronger than Sam's. That is really the only reason I have her above Sam. Because I think she was giving a lot more reaction face. She was giving a lot more personality in those reactions. And that, for me, elevated her just ever so slightly above Miss Shamishtar in this instance for me. So.
Well, that's your opinion.
That's my opinion!
And, well, I guess this is going to be where we disagree the most, because Miss
Where
Jules?
everybody disagrees with me.
Yeah, this is not, I mean, she got all of the lines correctly. Like she didn't stumble on the words. She tried. There was effort behind the performance. It just did not work for me. Period. Like it was a little uncomfortable to watch. I'll be honest. The energy was weird. I don't know. I didn't know how to feel. It was weird. It was weird to watch. I felt bad. I don't know if it's because she was waiting or if it's because she was like messing it up with the original speech that monologue that this was based on. I don't know. But the energy was not correct. So the timing was not there. The physical comedy was not enough. It just I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it, and I wanted to. I was rooting for her, but I didn't like it. She tied for last for me with Lydia.
Yeah, so this is going to be my hot take because if you've done the math, you figured out that Jules is number 3 for me. But I will say I have a clear top 1. I have a clear number 2. I have a clear number 7. And then everybody else is like splitting hairs for me. Everybody else in the middle. So that's why, like, no matter how those ones were ranked, I'm like, I could see it. I could see it. With Jules, I think there's maybe an expectation we were having because we've all probably seen this New York monologue so many times. And maybe we were expecting this to be a little bit more true to that. But if you look at that, you have New York probably early in the morning, no makeup, which is rare to see her without any makeup. She's just sitting in a chair. She's very reserved. And she's just saying this speech so earnestly and cuttingly without being animated, without being over the top. And that would not work with this role. Like you can't take that same sort of characterization that New York had and apply it to this role. It's really just the speech is very there, but she had to create her own characterization. And I really like the character she had. It gave me enough of Jewel and it gave me a lot of sass. Like if you watch that back, the head rolls, all of the facial movements, like her head was not stopping moving. And it just gave all the sass I wanted. So I was actually really impressed with it. I did not think it was winning by any means, but I still thought it was there. I thought it was good. Can I see her being in the bottom 2? Sure, because pretty much everybody else was good except Lydia was a little rough. But yeah, I'm not mad at you all having her in the bottom 2. But yeah, for me, she was number 3.
I can see that. I can understand that. What I felt watching her was I just didn't believe it. That was the whole part of it. I didn't believe her and even if you're going to change up the characterization, because everything you just said about how Tiffany portrayed it and delivered it was very true. And I didn't take that in consideration watching it. But yes, that is very true. This was that situation, how she did it would not have worked in this situation.
Mhm.
But the thing with taking a monologue that we are so used to seeing and know word for word, line by line, and how she did it, and changing it into another character, you at least got to make me believe what you're saying. And I didn't quite believe that she was upset with Ross. Like she found out, like she got the tea, and now I'm about to expose you. Because if I came up on some tea and I know you've been doing some stuff to me behind my back, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I found out and you did this. Oh no, I'm gonna be pissed about it because baby, you have just caused some drama where it didn't need to be drama amongst the group of ducks, and you are the lead duck causing the drama. So I didn't believe she was exposing Ross for something that he was doing and that she was upset about. And that was where my problem lied. I felt it was Jules being more Jules, being sweet Jules with a little bit of attitude, with just a sprinkle of sass, just enough to go, baby girl, da 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 da. But it wasn't. It was still Jules just saying da 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 da. It wasn't the I'm exposing you for it. I just didn't believe it. But I don't think she did bad. That's the thing. She didn't do bad. Nobody really did horrible. She just wasn't believable for me. And so that's why she was 6.
Yeah, I mean, I also have Jules at 6. I don't think she did a bad job by any means of the imagination. What I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of from Jules was a bit more cadence. I felt like she sped through the monologue, potentially because of nerves, potentially because she had been sitting there for a while. Because what I have always noted and what I love the most about the original New York monologue is the way, like the pauses that she gives. Like there's a way that you could study this in such a linguistic way. And I kind of wish she had taken some of those liberties, just because she knows the speech so much. Like there's a way to, like, they were old maiden type of shoes, and she said that those shoes were meant to be worn on a beautiful woman. So if that is the case, she should have put them back on the rack, and she should never even have purchased them because she was unqualified
Don't say on the rack.
to own
Don't
those
say.
shoes. Like, but like, I wish she had gone a little bit more with the cadence of the original instead of like kind of speeding through it. And then ultimately, I just found the characterization. I thought the characterization she had was good, but I ultimately found it to be a little bit one note, and a little bit underdeveloped compared to everybody else in the scene. So did she do bad? No, not at all. And I understand why you have her so high on your ranking, David. I definitely do.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I just think there were other characterizations that worked a little bit better for me.
And I think maybe she's the person who stuck closest to who her character is too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yes.
I do have average rankings.
Cool.
Oh.
They're pretty straightforward. They match.
Did
Did you
Yeah.
change mine and Lana's?
I did.
Okay.
They match exactly with Lana's rankings. So number 1, Anya. Number 2, Sam. Number 3, Lexi. Number 4, Lana. Number 5, Susie. Number 6, Jules. And number 7, Lydia, which is almost the same as River, but you didn't distinguish a difference between 6 and 7. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
David,
Exactly, because she fought for the role, and it was like the one that was by itself. So like the expectation was a little bit higher, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah. Party. Any standout moments from judging with lovely, wonderful guest judge Sam Smith?
I mean, there was
Just
a question.
RuPaul clocking,
The questions.
Well, yes.
RuPaul clocking the wig from the challenge.
yeah.
That was,
Mm.
and then
That was
Anya,
really
and then when Susie said that it was borrowed from Anya, when it's like, I'm screaming.
fun.
Literally, like I love it when people say just straight face, I'm screaming. I love it. It's so funny. I'm screaming.
Yeah. We did have the question of the hour that we all look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you want to send home and why? Who should be next to go home and
Who
why?
should go home tonight? And why?
And why?
And the majority said Susie too.
Yep. 4 Susies, 1 Lydia, 1 Anya, 1 Lana.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
I
most
feel
of
like
them said it's because Susie's big competition.
yes.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it was just that. I really don't.
I think it's
like
that, and that they don't really, or
Like her.
they're not that they
Yeah.
don't like Susie, but they're just annoyed.
Who could we picture enjoying the room more if they weren't here? I think that's who they picked.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think
agree.
they're getting sick of the well, I won't say delusion, but the grandeur of Susie
The
was like,
sophistication.
I mean, she calls it sophistication. Some people might call it grandeur. Some people might call it
The condensation.
The condensation.
the condensation, or yes, all that. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Susie is a lot, and so
She's doing too much.
She's doing too much.
Yeah.
But then
I
Susie will
think
turn
she's
around and
doing
say,
just enough.
She's the
I
one
think
getting
she's
on the
doing
nerves.
just enough.
Susie's doing too much, but in Susie's eyes, everybody else is doing too little. So
And I think they are doing too little. I think everyone should be on the level of Susie too, and I think she's doing great.
I did
See,
expect a
but I
lot more
loved-
Lydias and Lanas, to be said.
I did too.
Oh,
I thought they
I
were gonna be honest.
expected a lot more Lana's, to be honest, because she is the, like, objectively speaking, I love Lana. I'm really growing to really appreciate Lana in the competition. She's the only person without a win. So like, and I appreciate
so
Susie
likable.
at least. She's so. I mean, yes, she is so likable, but track record speaking, she is the only person without a win. She has one high placement, and this is like she's been at the bottom twice now. Make it 3 after this episode. Like, I appreciated Susie at the very least being like, track record matters.
But I understand why Anya didn't want to say Lana.
Absolutely.
Because they were scene
No, and I
partners.
appreciate it.
And also, like, if it was me and I had another Brazilian person on the cast,
I
I
ain't
wouldn't
saying
say
it.
them. So,
I
like,
wouldn't
they're
say
the only
it.
2 Black queens on the cast. I wouldn't want to say
No, and I
wouldn't.
and it makes complete sense for Anya to say Lydia as well.
Yeah.
Like, they're
Plus she
not-
did
But I
the worst
loved
in this
it.
Be
challenge.
the worst in this challenge.
Yeah. But I loved Sam going, Susie Toot, and I think.
And I thank you.
And I thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, it brought me back to Drag Den.
Loved it.
Yes.
And
And
I
I thank you.
Thank you.
I loved it. Loved it.
Very that.
So good.
Let's talk about Untucked for a quick second because it was fine. It happened.
I
the girl
liked that no
made-
one was mad that their names were said.
Yeah.
Like, what I loved the most was Lana was like, yeah, I'm not happy that Susie said my name, but I can't be upset. Like, I understand. I am very self-aware of what my track record right now is on Drag Race. Like, I know how I'm doing right now. I know I'm not doing great.
Mhm.
That's just how it is. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all you can do is accept the track record that you have.
Mhm.
Like,
There you go. I mean, Susie questioned like why lots of people said her name. She was just like wondering, I guess.
Mhm. Actually, like I have something while they were in Untucked and we saw the judges. I think one of my absolute favorite parts from the episode came from RuPaul when they first started talking, and she said, "I think I know what we have to do: eliminate Susie too."
Eliminate Susie too.
Could you imagine if they actually did this episode
could
too?
you imagine?
Could you imagine? Like, I guess we gotta
Susie
get rid of
too.
Susie.
Susie too. In the challenge, you did really well. However, it has come to our attention that the other girls don't like you. Therefore, we have decided to eliminate you on the spot. Sachet away. Like, could you imagine?
What if they actually did that where when they ask this question, they're like, okay, we're giving you all power. This one episode, you all can pick one of the bottom 2. Like, what a gag would that be?
That would be.
I would
sick.
hate that. I would hate that.
That would be sick and twisted in such a. I mean, my thing is this. I don't know if I would hate it. I just would find it really interesting that they would do that because, like, you're giving these girls the power just to eliminate somebody they either don't like or because they're big competition, which in this moment, it's kind of fair because it's like, how do I make myself get further in this competition? I got to get rid of the one who winning stuff, even though she ain't winning nothing. But, I think it'll be interesting. I don't know if I like it.
Yeah.
No, I think
Not by this point of the season. I think it would be interesting if they tried something like that, like not for the first episode, but like episode
Earlier
like
on.
3 or 4, like more early on, just to see how it would feel. But not at this point of the season. No.
I would also get nervous if they did that, and if the queens are expecting that each season, that it would become RuPaul's best friend race.
Exactly. They would have to do it
You're
once.
muted.
You're
And
so
then,
muted, Logan.
I silenced myself again. Is that not Rita Queen?
I think it
Kind
is
of.
sort of. But, like,
Putting the person that you want in last place in last place.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the judges still get to pick one. So it's kind of like a 50-50. I mean, it's similar to Rita Queen. It's similar to like a beaver. It's got
but here's the
similarities.
thing. It would be gaggy if they did, for example, just ask the question, who do you think should go home and why? After everyone has said it, they'd be like, okay, whoever had
The
their
majority.
say, the majority of the vote
You are
is
up for
immediately in the
elimination.
bottom.
mhm.
Immediately in the bottom, and then the judges would choose the second person in the bottom.
Mhm.
And if the girls didn't know that was going to happen, then it would be.
I would be fine with that if it was like a 3-way lip sync. I wouldn't like that if it was a 2-person. I just don't feel like that would necessarily be like the best case scenario. But if it was like a 3-way lip sync where it's like, okay, we're gonna ask the question, And then we're going to have our bottom 2 in the bottom as well. And we're still only going to send one person home. But shake it up a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I think that would be fine.
There needs to be stakes to this question now, because people are they're taking it they're taking the easy way. Like, naming somebody that you think is competition, that's just taking it so easy. It's becoming a lame question. Like, I want it to have stakes.
It's not who do you want to go home. It's who do you think should
go home.
And why? Not who do you want.
There's no like reason you can't name anybody. Like, I could name this person because they're standing next to me. So what? What does it matter in the long run? Like, I
would like some more space on the stage. So I'm gonna say
I'm gonna pick the person
Sam Star.
I'm gonna pick the person who I share a makeup station with because I want more space. So that person can go.
Yeah. Like, okay, work.
Make it matter.
Right, make it matter. I agree with that.
But then the highlight of Untucked is Sam Smith walking into Untucked, looking gorgeous, carrying a tray of chicken wings and a full bottle of whiskey, and just saying, yeah, no, after every one of my music videos, I celebrate with chicken wings and whiskey, so why not do it on Drag Race? I was like, okay, you better.
That's my kind of man.
It's like, say, non-binary person.
That's my kind of day.
Thank you.
Period.
I love them. Point blank in the period. But this made me love them even more than I already did. It was like, yes.
And it was so like natural as well. It was like, oh, no big deal. I just brought like very
no big deal. Let me bring in the good glasses and the good glassware to come into Untucked. And all the girls were like,
oh, we get whiskey? Fierce.
Imagine being on this season where you get to have a dance party with Betsy Johnson and drink whiskey and eat chicken wings with Sam Smith. Like,
pretty good. Pretty good.
Good for you, gals. Good for you, gals.
Yeah. And you get to see Katy Perry and do her song that everybody loves. There was a question. I think it was.
And you get to meet Doechii. That's more important.
Oh.
Depending on what group you're in.
Right.
Well, they were all there.
Were they? Oh yeah, they were all there. You're right. But there was a question. I think it was Anya asked Sam. They were like, something happened where there was a change, like in your style and all. What happened? And it was like, this could be read as really shady, like just depending on how it's inflected. Like, obviously she didn't mean it in a bad way, but I'm like, yeah, some other people are asking that too, but they don't mean it in the
They came out as non-binary. That's what happened on you.
They stopped caring about traditional beauty standards too.
They stopped giving a fuck.
But I think it's yes, that, but I think it's so much more than that, because it was the one thing that I wrote down, like when because they went on and explained a little bit, like they gave a specific example of one specific night and episode and everything. But then they finished saying that they realized that life is too short to not be living the way that you want to live. And that's exactly like, and that can mean, of course, in the gender journey is part of this, of course, but it's so much more than that. It's because it does bleed into every part of your life, if you think about it.
Absolutely.
And I wrote down, because I love that they said that, but also I added, especially when you have the money, which equals freedom to do so. Because if you don't, then I understand making choices and like having to compromise in parts of your life. I get it. But when you have enough money and freedom to do and live the way that you want to live, why not? Like, not doing that is a waste. So I love that message.
I love that. I feel like that's something that people need to hear. I think people need to hear that. And a lot of people who are going through a journey, not just a gender journey, but any journey where they're doubting themselves or not understanding what they're feeling, or life is too short to not be happy. So you need to do whatever you need to do to make you happy. and not caring what other people think about what you're doing, because it's like we have to get to that point in our life, like, you know what, I can only live this life once, and I can only live it for me. So if I'm sitting here worried and concerned about how to make everybody around me happy and I'm not happy, I'm going to leave this life never being myself and never being okay with me. So that resonates in any
Mhm.
part of your life. And I love that, first of all, the question was asked and it wasn't taken into a shady way, but Sam actually saying, hey, I was doing this to make me happy. Life is short. I needed to be happy, and I can't care what other people think about me because then I'm not happy. So I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Now, I do have a question. Did you all believe them when they told Susie that they remembered that concert in Miami that she went to? I was like, you don't remember that, Sam. You've done so many concerts.
In the same way, I don't believe Katy Perry remembered Joella.
Oh, I
No,
do.
I
remember.
do think she remembers Joella because the reaction she gave
I mean,
lets me know. I think
you
they
tend to
remember.
remember your stalkers.
Well, Julian.
Sorry, stalkerellas.
Thank you. And on that note, let's talk about some results, shall we? So we did technically have a top 4 for this episode. Lexi, Sam, Anya, and Susie were all technically in the top for the challenge. According to the fandom wiki, that is what they are saying. So that's what.
Okay.
Going with.
That's not how I put scores in the.
I saw that. I think having Lexi and Susie safe is fine.
Yep.
Personally. But the winner, no doubt in my mind, Anya 3 wins nerve.
First to three.
Period. And I was so happy. I was so happy because Susie was like, "It's gonna be me. I'm gonna be 3." And
I wanted to cut to her facial.
Right.
Oh,
I really wanted to see her face.
Because either way, one of these girls was going to be the first to 3 wins.
Yep.
And I would have, and I live.
I wanted them to have a shot of Susie just.
No,
but we should.
Literally.
We know it happened. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear the monologue from Susie next week talking about, I was really disappointed that I didn't win this challenge.
And this is why I didn't win. I didn't win because this, okay.
Literally.
Whatever.
Leaves our bottom 3 of Lana, Jules, and Lydia. Ultimately, with a bottom 2 of Lana and Lydia.
I wouldn't have been my bottom 2.
Why was Lana there?
Look, I understand if Lana and Jules had been just as, I'm not going to say bad, but not as good as if they were on the same level on the challenge and then use the runway to kind of untie that, then okay. But no. Yes, Jules had a great runway, but not enough to save her from the bottom 2. She was clearly. But anyway, for me.
I clearly disagree.
To me.
I mean, like I said, it should have been a bottom 1. Just do it sometimes. Be like, let it be a lip sync for your life where you show us, is this going to be a non-elimination episode or are you gone? Fight hard enough that we can't send you home. I would actually kind of live for that.
No.
Well, have fun on that boat alone.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all, honestly. I would have loved to see it.
I wouldn't have minded Lydia hobbling around stage like that to this song either. But we get Lydia and Lana lip syncing to, shockingly, I know we were all surprised that the lip sync song was Unholy.
Why wasn't it Stay With Me?
Is this a hot take? But I freaking love Unholy.
I love Unholy.
One of the
It's a
best
good
pop
song.
songs in a long time.
Here's the thing. When it came out, it was really good, and then it was overplayed.
Not for me.
I
overplayed it, but
that's fair. I felt like it was overplayed for a while, and then I was like, okay, cool. And now I listened to it, obviously for the lip sync, and I was like, oh no, it's a really good song. It's a very, very good song.
I was jamming out in my bedroom.
I like the
song.
I really do like the song.
I'm waiting for Diamonds by Sam to be a lip sync song because it's a really, really good song. But
I mean, I just knew it was going to be Unholy. I'm like, what other song could it be? But I was like, But you don't want to stay with me?
No.
I love that song.
Nobody.
But
Wow.
okay.
I mean, yes, but
Where's
see
money?
people
Where's
sing to
money
that,
on
I
my
don't.
mind? Do a deep cut. Where's money on my
Ooh,
mind?
that is a deep cut.
Well, I really
It's
so
the
deep I
only-
don't know it.
It's the only song that they've said they regret releasing. That's why.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, it's the only song that they're like, I actually hate this song.
Latch,
and I regret
Latch is
releasing
my
it.
favorite.
Love
Oh,
Latch.
that's,
Killing it.
yes.
And the funny thing too is Unholy has been on lip sync lists for like 3 or 4 different seasons of Drag Race at this point. So I'm like, finally, thank you, Jesus, we're getting an Unholy lip sync. Thank you.
I think they were waiting to be able to have Sam as the guest judge to then use it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm more than okay with that.
I like
Now-
that. Yeah.
Now this certainly was a lip sync.
Oh my god. It.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest here.
Uh-huh.
Lydia was actually eating this lip sync
She
up
was.
before
Lydia
She was.
She was.
before
was.
she took them scissors out. She was actually eating this lip sync. I was like, Lydia is about to win this, and Lana's finna go home because Lana was doing okay, but Lydia had my
Funny,
eyes. I liked it better when she was tooting around on that stage, just like and giving us the eyes and the performance and the face and doing the little weird Lydia thing. I'm like, just stick with that. But when she brought out the scissors, I'm like, okay, she's okay. I got what the vision was. I understand the vision of trying to be able to go into the second half and do some moving, but it did not work. She started cutting and cutting and cutting, and she got to the fur part, and you can't cut the fur. And it's just like, didn't you think about that? Like, how were you? It just fell off the rails. It just fell off the rails from her because she had this thing won. The first half, she had it won, and I was so
and she couldn't recover after the scissors.
She could
like it took so long, first of all, and after she couldn't recover.
Right.
Yeah.
It felt like if you've been to one of those like air shows and you're watching like a plane do like tricks and you're like, ooh, look how cool that is. Look how cool. Oh,
boom,
no, and then it just
died.
going down.
It exploded.
Oh
no.
Because I actually felt like this song kind of works in that Tim Burton type of world that Lydia lives in. So
With
just
what
her
she was wearing, with the arms.
It was so cool. I was like, this is actually a really cool take on this for a lip sync. So it was just so disappointing. I mean, it was bittersweet for me because I do love Lana and she's the last person on my draft team. But yeah, I just was like, oh, you were there, girl. Because I think actually Lana has done well in lip syncs. This felt so reined in. It felt, I don't know, almost defeated. And I thought this was going to be a complete knockout. Luckily, Lana started to kick it up a little bit more, but this was definitely Lana's weakest lip sync for me.
Agreed.
I still think, because I was going to let y'all, because I agree with you. I don't think Lydia fully recovered after the scissors bit. I still think given everything, scissors. I still think given everything, I still think she beat Lana in this lip sync.
Me too.
I was not like, I think Lana is a great performer. I think she did a serviceable job in this lip sync. I think she did a fine job in this lip sync. She knew the words and she walked around stage, and that's all she did. Lydia gave characterization. Lydia gave funny, and even if the scissors did not work, it was still something, and she did recover. It wasn't the most graceful thing in the world, but she did recover.
She didn't recover fast enough.
No.
And this is the thing, and I think I understand where you're coming from, and I understand why you feel like she still won. But when you are watching and she's doing the whole cutting thing, and they pan to RuPaul, and RuPaul is like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, she just lost it.
Yep.
And then when she's still cutting to the fur and she can't step out of it,
Get it out.
and everybody is just like even Sam Smith was like, oh.
You
I was like,
even Sam Star.
No, even
Probably.
Sam Smith was just like, oh,
Even Sam Starr's gay ass felt awkward.
I don't care about Sam Star in this moment. But
Ooh.
and then when she sat down and still had to pull it off, she didn't recover quick enough. It made the mistakes just seem too obvious. It was like it, and that's where I felt like in that moment she lost RuPaul. Once you lose RuPaul, you're done.
Yeah.
She lost
Here-
it.
Here's where I will counter that, because I do agree with you on that. On a season where we've had 2 queens win lip syncs after losing
Wigs.
their wig,
And maybe
Why
they
are-
shouldn't
and one of them I think they should have. One of them I don't think they should have. Like I don't get what the hell RuPaul is doing this season. I'm gonna be honest. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I still just don't think Lana did anything memorable enough. Like, she has now lip synced 3 times. She has won 3 lip syncs. I could not tell you a single thing Lana Del has done in a lip sync on Drag Race.
Put on
I'm
a
sorry.
Put her wig back on and put the
her wig
heel
back
on the back of the head.
That's
That's it.
about it.
No,
Like,
she's,
and
she's done okay.
I just feel like it, and I don't think she should have gone home for this performance challenge either. That's the problem. Is like, I'm back and forth because I love Lydia and I love Lana, and I didn't want them in the bottom, and I think Lydia still performed better in this lip sync, but I think Lana did really well in this challenge, and Lydia was obviously the worst in this challenge and should have gone home, but still did really well in the lip sync for like the first half, and then the cutting, and then the scissors, and then
Okay, hear me out. Do you think, because here's what I think. If she had tried, like, got the scissors out, tried to cut the dress, and then when she first figured out and realized that she was going to have a hard time doing that, if she would have just thrown away the scissors and kept doing the lip sync, then it would have been okay. Then she would have,
I think she would have won.
Could have maybe recovered and could have won.
Yes.
But the mistake was that she saw that it was failing and she couldn't do it, and she kept trying, and she let that win.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't let it go. She should have just let it go.
Yeah, I see. Even that would have been pretty awkward. And I honestly, like, I think the unforgivable sin in a lip sync is making the audience feel awkward, making us feel secondhand embarrassment. Like, that is just kind of unforgivable. Like, if you do that, if you haven't thought it through that this is going to make the audience cringe, then maybe you should just go home.
My thing is this, and I don't understand. It's been so many seasons of Drag Race. You should know you make every outfit lip sync accessible. If you're going to have an outfit that you can barely walk in, it better be a zipper so you can unzip that thing when it's time to lip sync. It doesn't matter if you think this is going to be the best and you ain't going to be in the bottom, or every runway look that you have needs to be lip sync ready. And if it's a tight thing and binding where you can't move, you make sure it's an escape route in that outfit. You make sure it's a zipper where you can unzip it and your arms are free now, or you can unzip, like, it should have been a zipper in that fur where she could unzip that fur and then it would have made into a slit in that outfit. You make every outfit lip sync ready because you never know when you're going to end up on the bottom. And if your outfit is not breathable and movable and you can perform in it well, then you need to make it well. It needs to be, I can take this part off and I'm in a leotard now. It needs to be lip sync ready. And after so many years of lip sync, I think all the queens going in it need to go into the designer and be like, hey, when you make this outfit, just make sure I'll be able to get out of it quickly during the lip sync and easily and accessibly.
Case in point, Corey King in the Wizard of Oz during the RuPaul's.
Right.
You got to have her ready to do so.
You have her ready to do it. You have to be ready to go. That's in any situation. That's like going on Survivor and knowing how to swim, going on Amazing Race and knowing how to drive a stick. You just need to know the mechanics of the show you are going on. And every outfit on the runway needs to be, well, I can perform in it or I could get out of it quickly.
Fair.
Agree.
Well, we've lost our butthole.
At this point, all you can do is
lose
cut
our
up your
butthole.
outfit.
Lose a butthole, I guess. We lost our butthole.
We lost our
We did.
butthole.
I'm sad about that.
Yeah, it's sad, but she, how do I say that? This sounds cold, but she was a placeholder at this point. Like,
Ooh.
I'm okay with just kind of getting rid of the placeholders that we have left and
You're not
really
wrong.
getting to the meat of the competition. And we're almost there.
You're not wrong, so I get it. And she got a man out of it. She got
True.
a boyfriend out of this whole situation. So I think they all good. Lydia and Corey are happy and they're fine. So we're good
We'll
on
probably
that.
see her again
And
sometime.
I think Lydia.
Oh, I
could have
think so.
done
I think
better
Ru
on the
loves
season.
her.
Mhm.
She would have done better on the season, I think, if she wasn't busy and like had her attention in other stuff. Like, I do believe that.
Yeah,
I'm
I do
not,
too.
like, because you're focused on something else. Like your energy in your mind is not fully there. So I don't know.
But Ru loves
I'm
her.
excited to see her back on.
Ru loves her, so yeah, she will definitely be back on somebody's All-Star season or something because Ru absolutely adores her.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I have no doubts in my mind that we will see Lydia sometime very, 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 very soon. Back on our TVs.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds very ominous.
Very pointed.
That
It was
sounds
very
like you know
pointed.
something. That sounds like you know
Sophia,
something.
We need to learn the art of subtlety.
Because that sounds like you know.
Baby,
something.
there is not a goddamn thing about me that's subtle.
No.
We know that. Now we know that, baby.
You ain't gotta tell me twice.
Shoot. There's no
Let's talk about
changes.
I have it up, so don't worry, David.
Yeah.
I will take care of it.
There's
Brandon's
no
out.
changes.
David's in seventh. With 52 points. Sugar in sixth with 59. I am in fifth with 63.5. River in fourth with 73. Lana in third with 79. Kamorian in second with 96. Oh, 96. And Brooke dominating the damn draft with 109 points.
My God.
Mhm.
Brooke has. I looked at that draft yesterday and I was like, son of a gun. Brooke is eating us up.
Lexi,
Ain't here
Anya,
to talk
and
about
Tiffany.
nothing, but eating us up.
Which at the beginning of the season, we're like, oh, Brooke has the top three. I don't think that's the top three anymore. I think maybe one of them's top three, but not the other two.
Yeah, I think we'll start seeing the downfall of Brooke in a little bit, but it ain't gonna change nothing. He's still
Does
probably
anybody have
gonna win the
Anya
draft.
and Sam on the same team?
No.
No,
Or Jules?
No, because
no.
Kamorian has Anya and Jules.
Watch out for Kamorian.
We'll see.
And had
It's getting
Lydia.
there.
And had Lydia. So that was
Okay.
so yes. Next week it is the Charisma, Uniqueness, Nerve, and Talent monologues. I have no clue what to expect.
Yeah, the preview threw me off.
There's interpretive dancing. There's partnering. I have no clue what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm excited to see it, but I'm also a little scared from the preview.
I don't know what that means. I was like,
I can't wait to see how this turns out.
We'll see.
But that is that for an extra special 2-hour episode in the middle
What
of
happens
the
when there's
season.
four of us?
Well,
Four
that's what
people
And
with
it's
strong
these four.
opinions.
That's what happens when these four people get together. So thank you for joining us for this recap for RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17, Episode 11. Make sure to check out our look over here where we talk about the black and white ball. River and I will be diving into those looks. Bow, bow, bow. Make sure to check out everything we are covering here on this channel, as well as all four of our channels. All the links for those channels are down in the description below. While you're down in the description, make sure to check out our audio podcast links as well as our social media, our Patreon, our merch link, all of our social media things, all the links. Click all of them in rapid succession. Just do it. Just do it. And with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. So, cheers.
Cheers.